for about 14 years, you couldn't drink alcohol. Mostly it was because the crazy temperance people are like, it makes you bad people. And then other people are like, hey, you know what, drinking is cool, and like, we should go to speakeasies and like have a fun time. So then there was a big confrontation between the wets and the dries, but eventually the Volstead Act was repealed and alcohol became legal again, and that was prohibition. Happy days are beer again.
Gangsters, bootleggers.
Bang bang.
Bang, your dad. Bang, bang.
They were into the moonshine and the bootlegging.
Killed a lot of people.
Yeah,
Lots
there
of
was a
violence.
lot of crime in the 1920s.
Which was probably caused of prohibition, so obviously it was a bad idea.
Yeah,
People wanted their
good point,
alcohol.
Catherine.
Thanks, Michael.
Al Capone does my shirts.
Women's suffrage. In 1869, Wyoming women won the vote, but they were irrelevant in the 1920s. The women had a parade in Washington, D.C., but a mob scene broke out, and it wasn't that successful. Alice Paul led the parade, but she was arrested, and she was force-fed eggs, and she choked on them. And finally, Wilson was like, okay, ladies, you can have your votes, because women are always right, and now we don't make sandwiches.
Fashion.
Hemlines.
So in the 1920s, the hemlines went up
Hemlines.
a lot. They cut their hair off
Really short.
and they wore hats and lipstick.
Yeah.
And it, females left the kitchen and the houses and started wearing revealing clothing.
And they could buy stuff with their new credit cards.
Okay, we're not there yet, Thomas. Just stick
They're
with the fashion.
flappers.
Just stick with the fashion.
Flappers.
Yeah, they were flappers and they would drink alcohol and stuff like that. All right.
Hollywood!
Hollywood.
Actors.
Yeah, so in the 1920s they started making silent films and
They didn't say anything.
nothing.
They had some fancy theaters.
But
Yeah,
they were still celebrities.
still celebrities.
I mean, no Leo DiCaprio's, but celebrities nonetheless.
Like Charlie Chaplin, yeah.
Oh, Warner Bros.
Warner Bros. Was made in the 1920s.
Yes.
Oh,
And then-
and of course, Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse. Yeah, Disney.
Movies.
Celebs.
Yeah, and that's them filming on a boat.
Cool.
All right.
Bye.
Oh, Mr. Gatsby.
Yeah, the Lost Generation in the 1920s were authors.
F. Scott Fitzgerald. There's his name right
Yeah,
there.
he wrote Gatsby.
Remember that time Pags made us watch the old one?
This is no, okay.
A
This is
farewell to
yeah, Ernest Hemingway.
Ernest
That's Ernest
Hemingway.
Hemingway.
Oh,
Yep.
there he is.
Yeah, he was
Hemingway.
I
war veteran. Yep, and this is the Lost Generation, the book
Yep,
about them.
Gatsby wrote
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Did
Gatsby
he?
wrote it?
Really?
Really? He thought he
And-
was not a person, Michelle.
Gertrude Stein, that too.
Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah, so this was the African Americans and like a cultural revolution.
Music was also very booming then with jazz bands and everything.
Look at me, I'm playing a trumpet.
That's Louis Armstrong, right?
Yep,
Yep.
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, and they had a bunch of bands of jazz. They also had like novels, you know, like Zora Neale Hurst Anderson
And
and
new clubs.
the Cotton Club.
Harlem Renaissance.
Lynchings.
The negative side of the 1920s.
Yeah, KKK saw a big rise in the 1920s.
They would randomly lynch African Americans because they're African American.
Or not so randomly if they wanted to prevent them from voting for something or taking political office.
Dark time in American history.
Dark
We're not
time.
proud of it.
Not proud.
Not proud at all.
The Scopes trial. Did I have a title? All right. So the Scopes trial was like John Scopes. He was teaching evolution at school, and then people were like, "No, God made Earth."
But evolution is a thing.
And William
Yeah.
Jennings Bryan decided to prosecute him, but then he embarrassed himself and died.
I don't think. I don't know if he actually died, Thomas. But
I think he died.
all right. And there were monkeys. Yeah. Well, there weren't actually monkeys.
We
there.
came from monkeys.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. Catherine, you can tell us more about that one.
Bye.
Laissez-faire. Hands off.
Yeah, okay.
Can't.
Form a government.
So it started with Harding. He was early 20s, and he was like really bad at picking people. and he was responsible for the teapot. You guys can contribute.
He
don't
also
have
he's a
anything
guy's
to
guy,
say.
and he likes to pick his friends as his advisors. This is Silent Cal, and he didn't say much, but when he did, it was more so directed towards the business area
Like you
of
say
politics.
sometimes.
As I
Hoover.
Uber.
He didn't really do much. He just
Especially
kinda,
for the Great Depression, he just kind of was like, you guys can help yourselves.
Yeah,
What was he
he's-
like?
You guys can help yourself. Yeah, and so they all were like conservative Republican kind of people, and they all were like laissez-faire. You can handle it. We're just gonna, just watch.
Politics.
Done. Immigration. All
Michael,
right.
do you want to take this one?
Absolutely. All right, so that's steerage. They were all packed in on a boat on their way to America. And then that's just like sitting on crates like, oh, we can't get into the country. And that's them walking. That's Ellis Island in the background. Yeah, they kind of just stunk when they got here. They had nowhere to go. Yeah, that was the quota. They were only like 3% in the year 1924 of each population already existing in the United States. Oh, that's pro-immigration people. That's like very rare. That's Ellis Island. Yeah, it just it was hard to get into the country. They had to live in tenements when they got here.
Immigration.
That's like, oh, you're dirty. Go away. You smell bad.
Immigration.
Yep. Thomas, thank you. And oh crap, that's the Red Scare.
As Michael said, oh crap, the Red Scare, like red people.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. So yeah, the Red Scare was really just tied to immigration a lot because it was like, oh, we're afraid like the Bolsheviks are gonna come in because like the Russian Revolution just happened a few years before, and they're like, oh, they're gonna bring communism to America. So they were like determined to just deport all of the suspected communists in the country.
Communists are bad.
They are indeed, Thomas. Yeah, and then there was just like fear of red scare, scared red.
They were persecuting wrong people for...
They thought they would bring anarchy to the United States.
Yes.
Consumerism!
Look at all my new stuff.
Yeah.
Dishwasher.
So like 1920s, McDonald's.
Oh,
Yeah.
McDonald's.
That's where it all began. Yeah, they had a
Cars.
bunch of money. Yep, cars.
Beep beep.
There was so much money because like the war economy had just ended, and it's like
Credit cards.
roaring 20s, the return to normalcy.
And credit cards.
They
Look
just
at me
losing
in
their-
my car. I'm
Driving
so
everywhere.
cool.
Yeah, there was buying on credit with
Oh,
credit
we are just invincible,
cards.
mate.
Invincible, yeah.
However-
Nothing can bring us down.
Nothing.
No,
Oh,
Refrigerator.
we can keep our food clean. Clean. I meant cold.
Radios,
Radio!
yeah, all the radio stuff. And apparently there was a TV in the 1920s. I didn't know that, but
I hope so.
there it is. And the greatest crash.
Crash.
Oh, this is a stock market crash. We moved on. So
Well, clearly we aren't invincible.
no.
Ah!
Going down the slope.
Because people couldn't pay off their loans from their credit cards.
Yeah, the
Credit
banks all
cards.
just fell apart, and it was
People are stupid.
it was a nightmare to say the least. Hoover, he
He really didn't step up to the plate.
no. I mean,
Depression.
The significance of the 1920s.
Short-term wise, it caused the Great Depression.
From a long-term perspective, the 1920s gave us many cultural things that we have today, like appliances and books and movies, and that's about it.
It's sliced bread.
And sliced bread, yeah! Sliced bread was invented in 1928. Undoubtedly the greatest invention of all time. Thanks for watching.